Okay, number two, you are solving x minus 8 equals 4x minus 2, okay, and you're using tiles. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I would do these with this slide. Okay, so you want to build it. You want to show x on the left, and then also on the left, see how it says negative 8? It says subtract 8, but you could think of that as negative 8. Okay, whenever there is a negative in front of something, when you're doing tiles, you could think of them as red. Okay, so here's x minus 8 on the left, balancing with 4x, 4 x's, 4 rectangles, and then it says minus 2. Okay, think of that as negative 2 with tiles. Okay, so we have x minus 8 on the left, balancing with 4x minus 2 on the right. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is write that in. You're going to write in the original equation. And now what I'm going to suggest is your first goal is to get green rectangles x's on one side. Okay, we want green rectangles only on one side. Okay, and I try to give you hints by the words here. Okay, the second step, it's going to have number 2 in front of it. I'll subtract blank from both sides. Okay, so you want to think, what can I take away from both sides so that I have green x's on one side only? Okay, well, the most you can take away is 1x. So I'm actually going to just take 1x away from both sides. Okay, so I'm going to write in minus x from the left, minus x from the right. Okay, see, notice I only have green rectangles on one side now. Okay. Okay, next thing you see is here's what I get. Okay, so you just write in what you have looking at your tiles. Okay, so what do I get? I have 8 negatives on the left, which is negative 8. And I have 3 x's and 2 reds on the right, so that's 3x minus 2 on the right. So I have negative 8 balancing with 3x minus 2. Okay, so your first goal was to get all green x's, green rectangles on one side. Your next goal is to get all these rectangles alone. Okay, I want these x's, green rectangles, I want them alone. So I want to think about what can I do to get rid of those reds, those 2 reds that are next to them. Okay, and I have the statement, I'll add something to both sides. So you want to think, what can I add to those 2 reds to make them go away? Okay, I can add 2 yellows to those 2 reds, okay, to make them go away. I just have to be sure to add 2 yellows to both sides. Okay, so I'll have something that looks like this. Okay, so I'm going to add 2 to the left side. I'm going to add 2 to the right side. Okay, I'm going to write that in. Okay, and now it's going to say number 5 on your paper. It's going to say 5. Here's what I get. Okay, so this is what I get. But before I write anything, let's get rid of these 2 positives and 2 negatives on the right side. Because the big idea, guys, a negative charge and a positive charge cancel out. Okay, so this positive and this negative cancels out. Okay, and this positive and this negative on the left, positive and negative on the right, they cancel out. Okay, on the left side, this positive and that negative cancel out. So I'm just taking them away. And this positive and that negative cancel out. Okay, so now I can, in a simplified way, tell what I get. Write down what I get now. Okay, so on the left, I have 6 negatives. And on the right, I have 3 green x's. So negative 6 on the left and 3x on the right. Okay, so the first step was to get green rectangles on one side. The second step was to get those green rectangles alone. Okay, my last step is to split things up. Okay, this is when you think trick or treat time, maybe. Okay, we have 3 trick-or-treaters. Those are the 3 green rectangles. And I want to split these up. I want to split this candy up so that each trick-or-treater has the same amount of candy. Okay, so I'm just dividing these up. Okay, and then I want to think about, what did I just do? I split both sides up into 3 groups. Okay, so I can show that on my equation by putting a 3 underneath my fraction bars, because that fraction bar means division. Okay, so I have divide by 3 on the left, divide by 3 on the right. And now I know, okay, if you look at the trick-or-treat bags here, I have 2 negatives balancing with this x. I have 2 negatives balancing with this x. I have 2 negatives balancing with this x. So I have -2 balancing with each x. Okay, so each x equals -2. You could type in negative, or write in, you guys are doing this on paper, -2 balances with x. -2 equals x. Okay, guys, continue working with these and let me know if you have questions.